Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here, New Life Pentecostal Church, Albany, Georgia. I hope you're doing great. What is the deal with facial hair on men and conservative Christian churches? Holiness Pentecostal. I'm Holiness Pentecostal. So in a lot of churches that, men just don't have facial hair. And people say, well, that's just legalism. Let me just share with you where that came from. Now, first of all, till just in the last year or two, like if you played for the New York Yankees, you could not have facial hair for men. And there's all these jokes about facial hair on women and all this kind of stuff. We won't even go into those jokes. But you could not. So there's reasons for this. Americans have not elected a president with facial hair since the 1920s. Studies constantly show that people are more trusted, men in America, clean shaven than they are with beards. Now, obviously, people in the Bible had beards. Jesus had a beard. Aaron had a beard. Psalm 133. Beards are mentioned, I think, 22 times in the Bible, and at least 21 of those 22 times, they are mentioned in either the neutral or, even in a positive sense. And the only one that may be even kind of remotely not in favor of beards, he shaved with a hired razor or something like that. So in Isaiah, and some people use that about Jesus, but it was actually, I think, talking about Assyria shaving the nation of Israel, destroying the nation of Israel. But anyhow, be that as it may, so people say, well, what is the big deal? Well, the thing is we've become all things to all men that we might win some. So if people are intrinsically more trusting in America of people with clean-shaven faces, well, we don't want to hinder the gospel. So we want to do everything. We want to maximize the promotion of the gospel. So it's biblical in that sense, but as far as just biblical in another sense, it's not. Now, there's many different cultures, I know in some cultures that if a man does not have facial hair, he is seen as effeminate. And I would say in those cultures, then they need to have facial hair. But just to go along with the crowd, to go along with worldly looks and all that, you just need to be very careful by that, because we're not conformed to this world. We're transformed by the renewing of our minds. We're salt and we're light, and we're carriers of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the good news of Jesus Christ. And we want to just maximize those opportunities to share the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ. So, that's why in most conservative Pentecostal churches, and especially in Caucasian Pentecostal churches, they would be very like, oh man, at a certain point in time, if you're going to be used on the platform, you're going to sing on the platform, maybe you need to shave your facial hair. And I know those things are getting broken down over time, but I just thought it may even help people that don't even believe this way to at least see the reasoning why that we have these things. It just didn't come out of random. I mean, you look at Fidel Castro. There was a point in time that goat tea, the Bible says don't mar the corners of your beards, and the goat tea, the five-pointed stars, that Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, would have a goat tea, five-pointed star, because the goat's sign of Satanism, on and on, Rolling Stones, goat head soup, all in all, this kind of stuff. And the head of Baphomet, these things. So, you definitely don't want to associate with the world. And then you had like Fidel Castro would have a beard, and it was Karl Marx had a beard, and it seemed like he was a follower of Joanna Southcott, who was an occultist. And so back in the 60s, wearing a beard was a sign of revolution. And, Christians didn't want to be associated with that, because we want to see our own Christian revolution in a positive sense of the love of God, the love of brothers and sisters, and the love of everyone, and seeing God do good to everyone. So that's where it came from, beards and conservative Christians. God bless. Talk with you later in Jesus' name.